My fellow analyst told me that if they could keep Astralis within the 6-round region, they had a shot, and shot they did in the second half, but Renegades once again just become another number next to Astralis' successes on Nuke. 29 in a row. We're closing in on 30 here, gentlemen. That's offline. That's a year.
I want to make something clear because a lot of people are like, why didn't Renegades ban Nuke? Well, they definitely don't play Overpass. So you heard Kassad say in the interview that they've been working on Nuke and that's why they went for it. The fact is, everyone's going to have a crack at Astralis at some point. They can't maintain that level forever. Someone's eventually going to get the victory. Maybe we'll change that 6 or less to 5 or less.
Yeah,
maybe that'll be the new number that we'll work with to keep them on the T side.
I mean, honestly, at this point, anything or less, if you can't get a single round on the T side, you've got a problem. I mean, that was a double digit, just 10 back-to-back CT rounds from Astralis. But that's not without lack of trying. And Jacob, I want to kind of throw a question to you that I was confused about.
Yeah.
We would cut through multiple rounds, and JKS is holding radio towards ramp while Force Ts are sitting at spawn. What's going on here? Help me.
That was one of those cool innovations that Renegades come out with on the T side. It's like on Mirage where you have that mid control that is constantly being fought for. You also had that going on Nuke with the door system. Now you can get out of the door and you can get down to the vents if you use this set or the right set of grenades, the right set of Molotovs and all flashes for that matter as well. Now this time around Renegades had a clear idea what they wanted JKS to do. They wanted him quick down to the vents and then into the window area. Not for him to get the kills, but simply to make sure that Astralis didn't have that passage, so to speak, to rotate through. You saw Device a few times being caught off guard as well, just running down there, getting his way up towards the secret area, but he was just faced by a JKS ready and waiting for him. So that was a cool little innovation for him, but that said though, we saw him down there 3 or 4 times. It didn't lead to any round wins. They weren't able to capitalize of it. So the idea in itself is very cool. Yeah. They need to find out a way to actually make something out of it.
It might work versus another team that's not Astralis because they didn't look rattled by it. It wasn't like, oh, he's under now, we need to go chase him and make sure he can't be a nuisance. They're like, we know where he is. He's contained and he can't do any damage.
But that must be so terrifying for teams that aren't Astralis, because you suddenly not only are focusing on the execute that's likely about to be thrown into the A site with smokes and flashes, it's also there's a JKS that we don't know where he is currently. I mean, that's that unknown. Perhaps not for Astralis.
That's been going on for such a long time, though. I believe Virtus Pro and Snacks in particular were one of the first guys coming down the vents all the time, constantly being an annoyance to play against. I think you even played against it at some point as well. It's super, super tough because you, as you said, you have to be aware that it can be an inside go, it can be an inside rush, but sometimes it's just a fake. They throw the smoke, they throw the flashes, and you don't know whether they're down there or not, so you have to be aware. That said, though, as Chet was saying, Astralis is one of those teams. They are super hard to rattle. Even with such an innovation coming out of Renegades right here, it wasn't able to make it work. So kudos to Astralis and kudos to Renegades for trying as well.
Chad, you had some observations regarding Astralis' CT.
Sean was talking a lot about this, and we'll actually put it on the telestrator, Alex. Sean was talking about the rotation when they get the lower bomb site. I want to set the scene on this clip we have right here. JKS is the ramp anchor, and what we're about to see is an explosion from Astralis through this smoke. He's going to get 1 kill, but they're going to know that when they get this kill that it is JKS, the ramp solo, so they can go straight under. Now, what Sean's talking about is how they prioritize taking that window room. We're going to take a look at how they use the basic utility after this frag goes down. They go straight into the ramp take. You can see here on the radar that they're very quick on taking under, knowing it was JKS who made that kill. And now it's going to open up and you'll actually see this utility. They're going to throw a lot of nades into the window room. One of the things I want you to focus on is that Molotov, and then it's going to be a smoke towards the door. Now, the reason they do that, we're going to actually take a look at the map of lower right now. The reason that they go for this, right, so we're going to see the Molotov is going to land here on the stairwell. That means when they jump on in, now they just have to worry about securing this. When the Molotov clears, they can take the next jewel. Why is this important? Because now the CTs only have one avenue to rotate through. That's secret or coming down the vent into the gauntlet or from ramp. Now, the main way to get back into the bomb site has just been cut off. They can't actually go through the window. They can't go through the doors. And this little door here has been smoked off so they can get the bomb down with ease. That completely disabilitates the CTs. They're not able to rotate back in and makes it very difficult. And that's why Astralis likes to prioritize that part of the map.
Unlikely a brainchild of 2 men, Zonic and Glaive. And actually one of them took a moment in between this series, and it has been a big series, of course, not forgetting Mirage, to catch their breath with Frankie. Let's go ahead and hear that interview before we jump into our third map.
I've just grabbed Glaive, and I'm wondering how you guys got your head back in the game after that first map loss. What happened?
Yeah, so we knew we had tried to play Mirage so many times, and we had tried to get a really good start on CT, and we get a lot of rounds, and then we go into the T side. And even though we won the gun round or the pistol round, it just feels like when we don't have the momentum on the T side, it feels really tough for us to play on that side. I can't remember how many times people have done a comeback against us, especially on the T side of Mirage.
And with Nuke, you probably knew that it wasn't going to go wrong, right? Because you had your CT round coming up second.
Like, I don't know, we feel a bit off today, let's be honest. Device is feeling really ill as well. We have Sonic who is really ill. It's no excuse, but still it just affects like the team spirit, the team chemistry. Even though I think we're playing like, we're not playing that bad, but still we're not like hitting the A level that we should right now. Yeah, hopefully it will get better.
Glaive, are you telling me you're contagious?
I'm not contagious, but I just really wanna go through today. Then we have 6 days off, I think so, and then maybe people can get fresh again.
Well, I still need to work the next few days, so I think I'm going to get you go and do your team talk because I don't want to get ill, but I do want to see some excellent Counter-Strike. So good luck, Glaive. Let's head back to the desk.
Yes, that is the plan. There we go. You can see dupreeh on your screens as well. Lots to focus on and lots going on behind the scenes for Astralis. Well, that team huddle, it's just going to be spreading Zonic's flu amongst the rest of the team.
At least they're keeping it contained to the team.
Yeah, jokes aside, though, we do have to focus on something lessons learned, and a bit, albeit quickly. Glaive saying that they're just not feeling up to their usual selves.
No, and I think, you know, you can see that in the way they play. I think that the star players of the team are not as dominant as usually are, and Renegades are playing well. I mean, they are pressuring them and pushing the right buttons, so to speak. I think Renegades have a great on that new game as well. They were able to put a lot of pressure on towards Astralis. You were thinking to yourself after that 9-6 half, had they won the pistol on that T half, you know, that could have spanned out of control for Astralis. So there was definitely moments where you thought to yourself, all right, there's a chance here for Renegades. But that said though, Astralis, even on a C level or B level, is still a force to be reckoned with. So again, coming into Inferno, Renegades have to play the absolute best brand of Counter-Strike. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough one.
It really is incredible, just with Device on screen. Glaive reminding us that he's still struggling with his health issues. The fact that he does it again, 50 frags across the series so far. Top of the scoreboard for Astralis. It is just testament to how powerful that man is, not only just with the AWP, but in the server in general. We venture into Inferno now, of course, limited time, but expectations. If Renegades were to do the impossible, Chad,
Renegades have already exceeded expectations in my book, right? And we can see that Astralis aren't playing at 100%, and Renegades are playing close to their peak. If they can continue that up in this match, that's fantastic. But just quickly, Astralis on land with this roster, 39 wins on Inferno to 10 losses. It's a strong map for them. It's their most played map. It's going to be very difficult for Renegades to be able to rattle them, especially in this environment, especially after they've got Nuke in the back pocket. This just becomes a best of one now, and Renegades have to start on the T side.
Impending Astralis victory. And it's up to Renegades to change our mind. Jacob, your final thoughts?
Just to back that statistic up Chat was throwing out there, I think Astralis have only lost once the past 3 months, and that was against MIBR, which was at the ECS finals season 6, I believe. So that's a long time ago. Otherwise, they've been clean sweeping it. They won 14 out of 15 Inferno matches. So for Renegades to win this one, they have not only to play the best brand of Counter-Strike we've seen, they have to exceed that and play even better.
Has to be the very best Counter-Strike Renegades have ever brought if they want to do what many consider impossible. A best of 3 versus Astralis at the major, no less. It's gone to 3. Renegades, Astralis with Sean Gares and Trace.
Thank you very much, fellas. Yes, the deciding map being Inferno, and the Renegades have pushed this one to the edge. Now Astralis, being the powerhouse that they are, they're going to have to get in here and set a precedence early on, which certainly they are trying to do that. Starting out on the CT side here in this third map of Inferno. Sean, we heard the desk talk about the statistics, the odds that are Astralis leading into the Inferno matchup. Now, if you were to tell me that Astralis can be beaten on this map, would you be lying?
They can be beaten. Na'Vi has proved that several times, actually. But it is very difficult.
And it should be very difficult. It is Astralis after all. Renegades here on the T side, just looking to get into this A bomb site. Trying to get a little bit of wrap control, but now finding that smoke to be quite impossible wall to pass through. They have elected to go through it.
That's the rotator. They're making the correct call here. They're going to the B bomb site.
This is a pinch for B.
Zipex is going to have to deal with 5 players all by himself.
A great read here for Zipex in his first point of contact. He does not net any frags, does a considerable amount of damage, and actually that grenade does rain through Supreme there onto Azar. So now these 4 players of the Renegades are going to have to collect that bomb from construction, get it planted, and, well, Device going for the peak there alongside of dupreeh, and Device the first victim, dupreeh trying his best to be the second. Taking a ton of damage, and the bomb's still not planted until now. 20 seconds left on the clock, completely fine. You're going to see Astralis now back away from this situation entirely. They're going to go ahead and try to get out of there with the armor that they have. And, well, first round going to the Renegades this early on.
And I will say, Renegades has had some of the most creative and innovative pistol rounds I have ever seen a team bring to the major. And this is another one. They have people jumping out of halls into lane and then going through an arch smoke into CT spawn. They're just running the gauntlet around the entire map. Astralis completely caught out of position there.
And that's not necessarily what you want to start off with if you're Astralis. Mind you, it is a slow start, but nonetheless, the Renegades have prevailed here.
Now, Trace, this is by no means a free round when you're playing against Astralis. They will certainly force up here. They'll have smokes across the entire map, and it is going to feel suffocating.
Well, it might be as suffocating as some of the weapons we're seeing come out right now, because Magisk has bought up the ump, Dupree with the shotgun. Well, they're going to be trying to keep this round going. Look at the buy here, Sean.
And Renegades knows that Astralis is going to have a lot of smokes here, so they're going to have to work up, try to get map control as quick as possible to force these smokes out of Astralis' hands.
And right now, the contest of Banana does not exist. Astralis is not going to be there to reply, but Gratisfaction will have used that Molotov there to kind of cordon off the car area. They're going to try to pressure it a little bit, see just how far they could push it against the defense that is Astralis. And trying to pistol some stuff back down on him. There's not a whole lot there to show for it. Dupree with the swing of the shotgun is able to take out Jacob before he's traded on by Gratisfaction. And that shotgun kill from Dupree will help monetarily. But in the big picture of the round, it's 4 versus 4.
Yeah, that's a win for Renegades right there. Taking out Dupree that early spreads Astralis a little bit thin. You can see they have 3 people around this A bomb site, but if Renegades wraps on A, they're in quite a good position.
Ouch. Azur finding device with the ump. And now things have come down into the hands of Magisk, Zipnix, and Glaive, and they're going to try to take these fights, even though they're outgunned. And this could be deadly. They thought about maybe going through that arch, but instead they're going to go ahead and commit to the full wrap, and the peek there from Zipnix could have been huge. Comes up a little short, and now the numbers game has gotten even more awkward. Azur being that last player to come through the arch is going to spot Glaive, and that bomb is just barely going to escape its way into the B bomb site from CT spawn. Azur trying to wait this one out, see if he can do something here to keep the fight in their favor, but with that bomb planted, Azur knows there's a player lingering around here in CT spawn. He's gonna find him, but not the kill. Unfortunately for Azur, Glaive is the better, and with 3 HP, Gratisfaction cannot hold on to this bomb and the bomb site, and will fall in the first round on the board here for Astralis. Mind you, some SMG frags and even a shotgun kill from Dupree. We're gonna have a different money game going into this next game, or round.
Goodness, Renegades played that round so well at so many different turns. Glaive, speaking of turning, just a quick 90-degree turn to take out Azur on the flank right there. You got to feel for Renegades. If they would have just kept wrapping on the A bomb site, they obviously had no idea how easy it would have been for them. But alas, here we stand, 1-1, Trace.
That is the story as it is told, Sean Gares. 1-1, AK, and M4s alongside of Zipnex's op, Zipex, before all of Denmark tries to find me. Yeah, the boys, no weaponry at all. There's a couple upgraded pistols here, and that's going to be a Deagle and a P250. Gratisfaction with that Deagle. It's going to have to find something from a distance with it. And right now they're setting up in mid to perhaps take that fight, having been pushed off Banana. There is a smoke down there, and it's starting to fade, but this grenade's going to be pretty big, and a lot of damage done onto him as well.
I think we're going to see a lot of grenades like that in Banana throughout this match, Trace. Zipix and Glaive are kings of controlling that area, always peeking and prodding down, using their utility to perfection.
There is only one king of Banana, and that's not even in play today. So, Glaive trying to swing here in middle, and he would have had quite the present for himself. Instead, he's setting up the bait there for Dupree. The Crossfire is in complete control of this mid corridor, and Glaive is running around playing a different game than the rest of us. Jacob finding a kill with the Deagle, goes for the second. Can't seem to do it. Another round on the board for Astralis. And with that, we can begin to look at the monetary situation that is Renegades. Buy is in order. We're going to see some utility coming out as well. Now, if you're the Renegades, right, Sean? If you're the Renegades, you've got your buy here. This is what you've got to work with. You've got 5 AKs, a little bit of utility. What's the game plan? How do we approach this?
Trace, I feel like if I knew that answer, I'd be playing Counter-Strike and winning majors, because
what
this
was I
CT
thinking?
side from Astralis is so hard to stop. They got to feel out this 3-man banana push and likely make plays towards the A bomb site. They threw a counter smoke towards the car, but Device getting an opening kill at the bomb site with only 2 players. That's going to really confuse Renegades this round.
Yeah, that's a rough one to swallow, especially as Vex playing real dirty there on the other side of the smoke. Does, in fact, take down Azur, and now we have 3 members of Renegades alive, Gratisfaction, Jacob, and JKS. With a little bit of utility and AKs that they do have, they're going to try to get something going here as best as possible, but Device with the angle and the shot on the Jacob finds another one on the JKS, and should he find the last one on the Gratisfaction, they'll give him the 3-peat. But Dupree instead will be marching through the smoke triumphantly and putting a 3rd round on the board for Astralis.
The first gun round of Renegades, we don't see them deal a single point of damage. Device just dominating that middle. I don't even know if a single Renegades player, I guess Jacob technically stepped foot in the bracket area, but not for long before Device put him down. Not much map control taken there out of Renegades.
Yeah. And a property battle does ensue, as the Renegades do have a significantly lesser buy, significantly less equipment and weapons to work with here. And, well, Device is going to go ahead and eat Gratisfaction's lunch for what it's worth. He didn't last long in this round. And as to be expected, Magisk with a little bit of a push down here on Banana. They're going to flash him through, and he's going to go all the way in. Start mopping him up one by one. Takes down Liaz. Jacob goes for Azur, gets him as well. And again, Dupree is there to end out the round. And we do see a couple of shots there towards the ground. Don't think it's any sort of BM, but...
No, but this is something Astralis does a lot of when you watch them play. When they feel the eco is there, they're not afraid to just disrespect you. And the reason for that is because they know that's going to slow you down to such a terrible pace on future gun rounds. And that's how they control you with utility.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get when you play Astralis.
And they've basically cordoned it so that you have to sit there and wait out the smokes, which is something that Inferno is notorious for throughout every iteration of it. And they're playing it completely to their advantage. Device now set up in the halls with this AWP. And Renegades there in alternate mid. So,
looks like we're gonna have a mid pop. They're willing to go through this smoke.
Yeah, that grenade's gonna hit them just a little bit, but the mid pop is there, and oh my goodness, the timing for Dupree is just not. He does get flashed off, and he tries to throw a counter flash there towards the arch side, and actually gets caught out in the open. The trades are now coming in, and a massive shot there by Liaz, take down Magisk. And what has been a trade of affairs here over towards the A site. They have elected to stick around. And the rotation from the B players is on. Device in this pit with the AWP. He's going to have his first shot off on the player coming out of halls. Actually has now let his position be known. And it has taken quite a bit of damage on a real awkward exchange in the pit. Azur coming out on top. And now with the bomb planted, it's up to Zipex and Glaive to get back in this bomb site. He's going to pick up that Molotov. And he does have a smoke, but JKS does have the angle. Zipex with not much to work with here, nor HP. I don't see a world where he goes for this, and well, for the rest of the Renegades, they've got to start to back out. He's going to cause a little bit of damage on his way out of the door, but that's a second one on the board for the Renegades.
I love the approach coming out of Renegades right there, showing that they're not willing to just respect the smoke grenades of Astralis early in this match. Astralis no longer can cheat people around the map and feel confident about it, because now Renegades is willing to, take those risks.
Indeed. And for the second one on the board on the Renegades, it's going to be a struggle to keep putting them on top of that. But at least now they have some weapons to do so. Again, no money problems on the side of Astralis, and the AWP in the hands of Device. Glaive going with the double nade call down middle. Doesn't quite net the success that they wanted. Ton of utility being used here towards this B side. We already see 2 Molotovs used up.
Not much damage, though.
Yeah, not much damage at all by all the utility used here by Astralis. And, well, now Renegades can find themselves a little bit of map control. They can find a pacing that they can have a chance to work with rather than being bottlenecked there on the ramp.
Yeah, I would say this is a huge win for Renegades, taking banana control with Ooh, so, oh no.
Dun dun. Glaive, burning Gratisfaction alive. He was doomed nonetheless. And that's going to be the pick there for Astralis. These Molotovs are now really posing a problem. Azure taking a ton of damage there, down to 35 HP, has elected to pick up the AWP. And who was being challenged by Zipex is going to go ahead and fall, but should Azure keep playing with fire, he's going to get burned here by Device. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, appears as though Glaive is going to get into the fight himself. That map control has diminished and is ultimately gone now as the Renegades try to lasso this one back into order. Walking right into what would have been a great crossfire. However, Glaive not smoked off. Well, take it all back. He was smoked off.
Glaive dominating that arch side on the rotate, re-smoking so that way the T's can't take it. Oh my goodness. I love the approach coming out of Renegades. I have to give them credit. But Astralis' utility usage at that top banana position just too strong. Forces Gratisfaction out. Ends up burning in the flames.
And for a guy with the flu, that's an excellent smile. About 9 out of 10. Nonetheless, here it does look like we have yet another problem in terms of the money department for the Renegades. They're going to go with what they can. A couple CZs, a couple Deagles, and an ump. And the utility purchase here. Trying to net something out of this round. I don't think they're going to be trying to contest B too much, and they really can't with the amount of pressure that Astralis is electing to put on them over there.
Now, yeah, this is yet another round where Renegades gives up banana control. Last round was one of the first rounds we saw them fight for, and they were very successful, quite honestly. Here they go back to this A hit, and I think they're, based on the guys staying bottom banana like this, they might try to split into spawn.
Again, well, I mean, it had worked for them in that opening round. They're going to run right into Zipex here. Finds 1-2. Can he grab a third? They're going to try to peek him, and he does indeed. Tries to pull out that Deagle. Can't seem to do it for the fourth. JKS is eliminated not long after that. Liaz left all on his lonesome, having worked all the way up banana. And almost in vain, considering the bomb is down there towards the arch side. He knows that there's a player lingering around over here at B. And, well, not a betting man, but if I were, I would say that the odds are highly stacked against this young man here.
I'm not even sure if he could run and grab the bomb and get back, Trace, so I'm going to go ahead and side with you on this one.
That's right. And you can side with another round of Astralis on the board. Now bringing it 6-2. The show of force is currently on full display here. We're not at an air show, but Astralis to the stars. Look at that. And it's just, he knows it too. He almost gets the Deagle out to finish off the deal. But
almost had that last kill.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, so I've been told. But, you know, sometimes people make things up. Sometimes people fib about things. Mid-aggression here from Dupree. He's had enough, and for what it's worth, he's going to run into Renegades that have 0 armor, 0 weaponry, 0 utility. It's just a matter of time. Now, they have found a kill on a Magisk, so it's not bad, all things considered, but the money is stacked too high for it to really even come into a factor here, and they're just going to get cleaned up on their own ramp. Now, this is a strange situation. They've already pushed down Banana, and I think they now know that Jacob is just hanging around on the ramp. 7 on the board for the Astralis side, and things are starting to appear back in order with the simulation.
And this is exactly what I was referring to earlier, where if Astralis knows that you're ecoing, they're willing to make those risky plays. They're willing to push down mid, push down banana aggressively, take fights in T-spawn, take fights in alt mid, in the apps. They're willing to lose that one person for the sake of the plot of them bogging you down the next round.
Yeah, and it's basically an uphill battle no matter what here for the Renegades. You just look at the economy over on Astralis, it's pretty disgusting to try to mount something against that when you're barely scraping together buys every round, when you're barely getting anything even remotely close to be considered map control.
They've got stacks on deck for days, Trace.
Stacks on deck, but it would appear as though the war drums getting banged away over there by Astralis, much of Travis Barker beating them out. And now they have elected to go with a buy. So that little bit of utility is going to have to do something here. It's going to have to slow down this Astralis snowball. Started the round out with 3 CT players over there towards the B site, but they're going to go ahead and flex that one player back. It's going to be Glaive on the rotation. Just going to leave Dupree and Magisk as the points of contact over here. Dupree about to get nasty with it, and by that I mean he's going to be eradicated. The spam from Glaive, though, will prove to be disastrous as they walk right into a grenade from Magisk. This is all falling apart at the seams, and Azure can't seem to put it all back together. He's tried to do something, and whether JKS gets that frag or not on Zypex, there is nothing that can be put together there at the end of that round, Sean.
It's so incredible because when you watch other teams play, they might do a play exactly like what Dupree just did, right? Going into Boiler, seeing 3 people and dying. But the teamwork layers after that where, you know, Glaive is just spraying through the smoke. Magisk instantly nades and gets 2 more. It's just, there's so many layers to what they do that it almost feels like once you get a frag, you never feel comfortable progressing onto the site afterwards.
It's just not going well for the boys from down under. Being beaten back all the way down to T-ramp, and at this juncture, well, the pistols they have might as well be slingshots versus catapults here. You like that one, Sean?
I love that.
Cool,
Put
man.
that in my back pocket.
Nice. Make sure you put me on any socials you use that on. Go ahead.
Nah.
Nah, is exactly what Device has said. He has taken out 1 in this round and put a considerable hurt onto Gratis faction in the meantime. And I'm not really sure what to make of that. Oh, there, that all makes sense now. The crossfire here in middle is proving to be that of a fatal funnel. However, Azure with this little slide out there does take down Zypex. And Glaive all the way down now will have the upper hand. And you've got to get Azure here to make a play. You've got to get him in the round somehow if you're a Renegade.
He is on quite a good lurk right now, but Dupree getting tons of information at top mid.
That doesn't help. No. JKS falling to Dupree. They're in the halls, and Azure posted up in the library. I don't think that they know he's there. I guess there is a chance that they just saw him, but it doesn't appear as though. I mean, they're not really reacting to it. And again, some smokes come out here late in the round. Astralis really pressuring you to come through here and fight us one-on-one. And in that moment, the one-on-one was not exchanged in their favor. Azure finding one, but does he know the second player's here? He's gonna go for the frag, almost grabs it. Oof. Dupree on 34 HP closes out the round, and this one's slipping away fast and furiously there for Astralis. 9-2 currently.
Device and Dupree getting all 5 frags that round. The double Ds looking too big for Renegades to handle.
Man. Well, if you're feeling the Renegades today, they could use all of your power. They could use all of your energy, because now they're going to have to face Device, who has found himself stuck off in a Molotov here. Now, this is where Astralis playing 3 towards B early in the round will certainly help them out. They have a 5-man presence here from the Renegades. They need to find a way through the smoke, but Glaive finding a kill through it will not help the cause whatsoever. Zypex pushing through as well. They're going to take this fight to Makar, and they're not going to go down without one. Jacob, though, doing something in this round in the favor of Renegades.
Again, I really like how Renegades put so much pressure on this banana. But it's so black and white when they opt to take it. It's either all or nothing.
Yeah. It's not really a wave thing, but then again, Astralis isn't really giving them the chance to set up for waves. You know, the way they're using their utility, they're pretty much, you either fight us head on, or we're going to make you battle out for the entirety of the round. Which now, it looks like the Renegades probably going to walk into that op of Device should they elect to go this direction. However, Azure and JKS going to go ahead and flex back. Playing around in the apartments. Going to try to make some presence on the other side of the map. They do have the defense of Astralis split between the 2 sites.
It looks like these players going back towards middle might just be trying to draw a rotate. I can't really see much of a reason otherwise. So they're trying to grab Glaive to come back towards the arch. and then end up hitting the B site, but it's just not working.
It's not working at all, and I'm pretty sure Astralis knows it. They've got their spidey senses tingling, and with the timer ticking down, there's only one place that it could be, right here on the B site. The frags are being exchanged, but the time is also dwindling. They would have to have gotten the bomb plant now, and unless they start eradicating these enemies, nothing will be happening there, and they just drug the clock out too long, Sean.
Yeah, they had Astralis right where they want them. They had an 2A, 2B setup. It's probably the worst spot to be in, actually, as CTs. Either site would have been fine for Renegades to hit right there, but they just didn't leave enough time on the clock.
Yeah. They are going to go ahead and buy up what they can here. Astralis round up into double digits, 10-2 now. So we get into the 13th round of the first half of, yes, a best of 3 that Renegades have won a map on against Astralis. I think Chad said on the desk, and I think he was certainly right, they've exceeded all expectations to this point. The Renegades definitely making a stand here in Katowice.
And we cannot write them off on this map. The first map they won, they were down 12-3.
That's right. Bounce back, and that was Mirage. Here in Inferno, storylines could play out similarly, so make sure you don't go anywhere. Renegades trying to go somewhere, though. They're going to try to go towards this A site. This peek by Device will prove to be just fatal for that of JKS, and another one for him. He's going to take Liaz down as well. Gratisfaction by himself. 1 minute left. Does have the AWP and bomb, but against 4 members of Astralis, well, with all the wishes in the world. The no-scopes, though, didn't account for those. Did take down Device. Very well done. But again, not really much that he can hope to put into action here.
No, he finds himself in a very tough position. Won't even be able to take that AWP into the next round.
Yeah. They punish him there in the boiler room. Astralis reigning supreme thus far, 11-2.
If you're Renegades right now, you don't even know
Have an
the
answer.
play is. Yeah, you don't know what the play is. You've tried jumping through the mid smoke. You've tried going banana. I guess the one thing they haven't really tried is a Halls pop, but Magis does such a good job of using his utility that you don't even feel like it's an option.
Well, that supporting element coming up mid, I mean, they're being beat down onto the ramp from B, and peeking middle is most likely out of the cards, right? So either way, this round not having desirable weaponry. In fact, 3 Deagles and 2 CZs, but with this utility, perhaps they have something in mind. Perhaps there is a longer-term play here as to what they can put together and string together going into this round.
They do have 3 smoke grenades. And he can do a lot of different things with those. They can do a B execute. They could smoke the back wall of A side along with pit smokes. Looks like they're opting to take banana right now. Device, more of the same from him.
Yeah, running into that op is not going to really help, to say the very least. Gratisfaction out of the round now, and the 4 remaining Renegades have a very, very, very big fence in front of them to try to hop over. On the other side, Mr. Feeney, and that would be Glaive here. They don't know. They're probably going to check this, but JKS, it's not really going to pan out. I hate to say it. The spray down is there. Glaive finding 2, looking to find the other 2, and in a weird way, there's a kill from midair. Deagle shot by Jacob, also a 1D, so don't hang your hats just yet. They're poised running this up, and a very, very fast flick there from Device, ending the hopes and dreams of the Renegades. 12-2, and that is a tough pickle.
It is. Jacob had some incredible shots to put Renegades into that round, and you felt for a second there was a chance, and then this flicky boy goes up.
He's got this guy, he's got this AWP, these flick things. Also, his teammates are really good, so what is your answer, Renegades? That is what you have to be searching for. Start in the soul. As the search for an answer to Astralis' CT side has remained unanswered thus far. 12-2 going into this last round. It's going to be a all-in purchase for the Renegades. Not a single member over 7 frags, and ADR also below 60 for just about everybody. So not really putting the damage down range either at this point. And you hate to be bleak, you hate to be, you know, dismal about it, but it's kind of a bitter pill to swallow right here. They are getting pushed around on their T side by Astralis.
They have been a CT team throughout this entire event, though, so I don't want to write them off yet. I know the score seems lopsided, but we've seen Renegades make these comebacks already.
We do know what they're capable of. And they have already taken a map from Astralis. Very tall feet nonetheless. Now they want to take this fight here in Banana again. They feel like they might have a better shot with some weaponry and utility, but they're going to elect to give it up, fall back. And it looks like they're going to have an A hit this time. Now, Sean, you did say that we hadn't seen this up to this point. We hadn't seen any sort of hall pop or any sort of aggression at that capacity over to the A side. Perhaps this is the round they can get something going.
Fortunately, though, Astralis is reading this so well because they have banana control. And if you look, there's 2 people on that arch side, 2 people holding the opposite side. Device getting so aggressive, and he's going to get this. The bomb's down top mid. All of the info is in Astralis' hands.
Just trying to hold it together, and they can't seem to do that. Hazard, 1 kill might have made him feel better, but in fact, at the end of the half, it's 13-2 for Astralis. We look into the second half of Inferno here. We're gonna go to a quick break. Make sure that you're with us when we come back, because the boys might just run it all the way there. We'll be right back. Well, it's 4 degrees Celsius here, or 40 Fahrenheit if you happen to be the American type, but for the Renegades, it's much chillier than that. As they look into the second half, 13-2 is quite the story and quite the scoreline to bounce back nonetheless against Astralis, the powerhouse that they are. And it's all going to come down to this pistol round, I fear. My name is Trey Sinasaranthus. I'm here with Sean Gares, and this has already been an up and down battle. We've seen this one go all 3 maps.
We saw Renegades come back from that 12-3 deficit on Mirage to open the series. They're gonna have to do better here.
You're gonna have to start it with this pistol round, and that's not gonna help. Gratisfaction taking 90 damage there, and he's gonna have to fall off. He doesn't want to be out of the round this early on.
Astralis is going with the, or I'm sorry, Renegades is going with the blind stack into the B bomb site. No info.
Yes, they are, and maybe this will pan out. They do have 3 members of Astralis pushing their way up right now, making a ton of noise. Perhaps as they start to fade away quietly, this could be all part of the plan. The master plan, that is, to transition back and traverse back to that mid area and walk right up on the A site. And that is indeed on the cards. Now these 3 members over at the Renegades are gonna have to figure this one out sooner rather than later. They did hear all the noise, but
we have 2 smokes on Astralis right now. One is definitely going to be going to the back of the site if they hit this A bomb site. Yep. It looks like Glaive is potentially going to use his elsewhere.
I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we see the flash from Glaive. No, he's going to smoke.
There's the
off.
back site smoke right there, and a flash is coming out, and a smoke on Balk, so that way they can actually get out.
Now, mind you, they have that Molotov, so they're going to be able to clear out the pit here, and that's big. Liaz looking to hold it together, can't do that. Magisk and Zipnik has come up on top. And it's now down to the 3 members of the Renegades, and Azur, Jacob, and JKS to retake this bomb site, but it doesn't appear as though they're going to go for it at all. Having situated and posted up in that B bomb site the entirety of the round, they're going to concede it, and that's going to be 14 on the board for Astralis. Not the start you were hoping for if you're a Renegades fan.
Yeah, what a brutal pistol round coming out of Astralis right there. 2 players in the A bomb site, one of which you did 90 damage to, and you're in the pit unimpeded. There's no way that Renegades was going to win that round based on the call out of Astralis.
Yeah, and I mean, the form that Astralis has right now, should they have even put 3 over there today, it's hard to say that it would have gone much differently. And they didn't even have to really show too much face there. Again, round going to Astralis, 14. 16 being that magical number, and 2 on the side of the Renegades. If you're just joining us, well, you're a little late to the party, but again, it is very important that we note that the Renegades have bounced back already in this series once, Sean.
They have, and they're extremely dangerous on these second rounds. We saw them actually defeat Ents in several of these throughout the multiple times they've played them at this major. And they obviously are going to have to force up here. There are gonna be tons of smokes across the map. I'm really interested to see how Astralis deals with this, because this is the same type of Counter-Strike that they play on the CT side.
Which is reasonable too, right? I mean, you think about how top dog Astralis has been this entire time for as long back as Marseille. I mean, they've been studied by everyone, and I mean everyone.
Yeah, and they still managed to innovate and come up with new ways to dominate all of the top teams.
Which is scary indeed, as we do get deeper into the legend stage here. The Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Major. This is a 2-0 match, and a very, very important one at that. This will put Astralis or the Renegades, should they come back, up to 3-0. That is the big magic number for the Swiss system, but as it stands, Jacob with that aggression there, down banana, is not gonna prove to bring anything forward for the Renegades. In fact, if anything, may have set this up in a way that they don't know that there's 2 players here. These smokes maybe gonna hold off Astralis just a little bit. They don't necessarily need to go through it with the quickness. And they don't seem to want to either.
They don't. They have these 2 HE grenades and they dump them both to the coffin position. No one from Renegades is there, but that is their last smoke at banana. You can see Azza's just holding it all by himself. Astralis spreading out now, going back towards the A bomb site.
There's going to have to be some huge individual plays here from the side of Renegades. The other domination of Astralis is at hand, and they seemingly have not found an answer just yet. 40 seconds on the clock. Could be Azur that finds that first contact. He does catch a device out in the open. Puts him down a considerable amount of damage, but ultimately does not win the skirmish. Gratisfaction getting one on the other side of the map. And now what is a fight for the boiler room control has gone in the way of Astralis. They start working their way up there towards that porch, taking the A site, having a casualty in Dupree in the meantime. And that bomb will be planted there in a pretty safe location by Magisk. Now, important note here, Sean, the 2 AKs, as well as the Galil over on Astralis, you have to mention the fact that they are low. So there is a chance, but it would really take something here, and Device is going to find himself in a really, really advantageous position. The real thorn in the side, and the timing just works out impeccably. You couldn't even script it if you tried. Device finding the 2 there under the porch, and that is not a good look from the Renegades.
That is such a veteran play coming out of Device, playing the sound, waiting for his teammates to make contact, and then he gets on that flank, gets 2 frags with 21 HP to shut Renegades out of the round. Heartbreaking way to lose that round if you're Renegades.
And you do hate to see it. You do hate to see that the Renegades are unable to field an answer in this situation. And going up 15-2 now, Astralis on the cusp of taking this entire series and moving forward to 3-0 in the Legend stage. Has not been a pretty one here for the Renegades on Inferno. In fact, much of that momentum has dwindled and fallen off at this point. So they've got to buy up what they can into this round, Sean, and I guess pray to whoever they can.
Yeah, Astralis rattling off 11 straight rounds at this point.
Yikes.
It's not looking good if you're Renegades.
No, it's not. Not to mention the fact that the 5 AKs here on Astralis, they pretty much dictate how they want to approach this. They can pretty much do whatever it is that they would like to do. And at least Liaz has something to say about that, but Dupree has even bigger words to exchange, finding the 2 kills there on Liaz and Gratis faction. Now, as they're kind of postured over here towards the B side, they don't have the bomb, but they do have all the frags necessary. Jacob and JKS, the only thing standing between Astralis and a map victory. Jacob with the shotgun frag. Does bring him down to 22 HP. And the bomb is going to be working its way up to A now. They're going to have to leave a player over here at B. They don't really have a choice.
But Dupree is in the pit. The bomb is coming up mid. They knew that both players would be at B once the Mag 7 comes through the smoke. I do not see a way that Renegades can retake this bomb site, but they have to try, Trace.
So you're telling me that there's a chance, but ultimately the House of Cards has fallen. And it's all gonna fall down to this. JKS and Jacob have to go for the retake here. There is no letting off the gas. This is in fact match point, and Jacob's not gonna last long in the fight himself. Going to the frag, JKS finding one, not enough. And Astralis have done it here, 3-0 through the Legend stage, as predicted, as put on through the simulation. And what was a scare in the first map, well, that has transitioned to a very, very successful third.
Incredible showing by Renegades, though. Honestly, you can't take anything away from them. They even showed up on Nuke. This last map, though, they looked so deflated after that Nuke loss.
Yeah, it really did fall apart for them there. And of course, Chad said it best, and I'm sure they will continue to say over there at the analyst desk, no reason to hold your head if you're a Renegades fan or a Renegade itself. Let's go ahead and kick it over to those guys at the desk. Take it away, Alex.
Would be my pleasure. Thank you very much. That's Stunner and Sean Gaines who brought you the action there in the commentary booth. Now we reflect. Astralis, they get what they desired. Glaive gave us the pleasure of a mid-series interview with Frankie, and actually we learned that his main goal, not only picking up the 3-0 to the next stage, but also doing it in the 3-0 fashion, enables him to have another 6 days, he said 6 days, to prepare and to get everyone back into that mindset coming into champion stage.
It also means a lot coming into the next stage of the major, feeling comfortable and feeling confident. And I think Astralis, despite losing a map here to Renegades, I think they can be okay with the performance. You can be cruel and you can say that had Astralis won a pistol round on Mirage, they probably would have won that map and we wouldn't have been standing here watching a 2-0 or 2-run series. We would have watched a 2-0 quite convincingly. So despite Renegades putting on a great show and a great performance, I think Astralis as well can be okay with the result.
I think what the biggest lesson from Renegades' perspective is that they did manage to forge a huge comeback against a team like Astralis who don't give up comebacks easily, then fall to overtime and overcome overtime. That's the lesson we learned about Renegades and what has been a fantastic major from them. Magisk, though, is standing by on the stage. We're going to go ahead and hear from him before we go any further.
Magisk, you've just got through to champions, but you don't strike me as a happy man. What's going on?
Yeah, it was a close game, so I was just... I don't know, we are kind of tired because everyone is kind of feeling a bit sick right now, and so for us it's kind of survival right now, and we're just happy we made it 3-0 and we can focus on getting better, and yeah.
What did you think of Renegade's performance?
I think they're playing really good CS, and they're definitely a team to look out for. We actually practiced against them before this major, and we were kind of surprised with how good they were. And they've been proving their worth this tournament as well, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna make it through to top 8 as well.
Well, let's talk about the top 8 then. You are the defending major champions. Do you think you're going to be successful in defending that title?
I mean, that's why we're here, right? I mean, we are playing good season in moments, and there's definitely room for improvements right now, and we're not playing perfectly, but we're still confident in our own game, and if we play the best CS that we know we can, I'm pretty sure we have a good chance, but obviously there's many good teams right now, and everyone is trying to take us down, and yeah.
Well, we'll see if anyone can do that. I think I need to let you go and snuggle with the boys under a duvet, Major. So we'll let you go and celebrate, and we're going to head back to the desk to break that last game down.
Would be my pleasure. Interesting stuff from Magis. Not only the fact that they practiced against them, I guess that explains the "don't sleep on Renegades" tweets from Glaive. But speaking of Glaive, actually, that's where the conversation has to go. Incredible impact, Jacob, that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it's just Glaive's impact in general as an in-game leader. I'm really not surprised, but I'm really admired by the fact that he's always able to have an impact. You often look to teams like Na'Vi, for an example, or ENCE for that matter, who have in-game leaders who are definitely great at their job, but they don't have the same impact as a player, especially on a map like Inferno. I took the liberty to check out some stats, and the fact that Glaive is not only the best fragger the past 3 months for Astralis on Inferno, he's also the guy setting up the flash kills for all the other guys, averaging the most flash assists, averaging the most opponents flashed per second, and averaging pretty much all those statistics by a big margin of lead. So Glaive is so impactful, especially when it comes to Inferno. And given the fact that he's an in-game leader as well, there's a big contrast when you compare him to a Zeus from Na'Vi, for an example.
Sure. I mean, he's certainly using his utility to the absolute maximum. We didn't doubt that, though. We've seen Astralis' Inferno utility damage. Now, actually, speaking of Inferno, of course, that was the third map. Chad, you have got it up on the telestrator, and I assume that means something.
Well, yeah, Renegades on their T side. So I'm just going to head over here, Alex. Now, on their T side, they were having an approach. I just want to point out, first of all, what the guys from Astralis like to do. They do the 3 guys over towards B early to shut down Banana. You can see the utility that I put up on the screen here. Renegades, what they were doing was going for a mid pounce, but if they were a little bit quicker, what they actually could do is use the pop flash up through the mid smoke, and then try and isolate the 2 defenders on this A bomb site of Dupree or Magix or whatever setup that they're running, and then try and swarm them. The issue can be, because they were taking maybe an extra 10 to 15 seconds to do it than what they probably should have, the rotation had already come on in from the CTs, and a lot of the time there were already 4 players over towards this A bomb site, and they were just getting shot on down. I like the approach, maybe just a little bit quicker next time.
So that's default then. Is that truly how Astralis start their CT sides?
A lot of the rounds,
okay.
yeah.
So you're suggesting that perhaps if you were going to, I mean, it does
it's a
risk. Require
it
confidence.
Is a huge risk, right?
Pushing through smokes is not known to be a strategic maneuver.
But it's one of those risks that if you're successful with it, you're forcing Astralis to stay away from that game plan. You have to force Astralis to play 3 guys towards that bomb site instead of 3 guys towards the A bomb site.
Right.
So in that regard, you can sort of mess with the rotations. And we often find ourselves talking about how do you mess with a team's rotation? Well, that is by doing stuff like that and actually be successful with it. That said, though, you have to pre over on that bomb site. He's always molotoving down middle. He's always making sure that it's super tough to take that control.
One last point, sorry, Alex, about Astralis making it through so cleanly. It means they didn't have to show a lot of their map pool. It didn't have to show a lot of their pocket strategies, because now they go through to the bracket stage, and when they go up against the bigger opponents, the Liquids of the world, the Na'Vis, the people who they consider teams who can take maps and take series off them, they can pull out all the stops.
That's it, though,
Mirage. That was my thing. I was going to say clever, Jacob. Damn it. All right, on that bombshell, we're going to take a break. But yes, one warning sign, one flag so far for Astralis. Keep your eyes on their Mirage. Renegades picked up a huge win on it. And we have one more series, and it's a juicy one to end the day. We're going to be bringing you Na'Vi versus Team Liquid. Who's going to end this flawlessly? We'll find out as the day concludes with Trace and Sponge after the break.